What? Oh. Hey guys, welcome back to Entrepreneurs Talk and Tea, and this is episode 10, and I'm here with Matthew Wright. So I won't hold up any longer on this one, but do not forget to thumbs up, comment and subscribe and click the join now button. Episode 10 is going to be a big episode, as you can see by this crazy view. So I'm going to hand over to Matt, and can you give a bit of an intro into yourself and kind of what you're up to?
Cool, yeah. So I grew up in South Africa, you probably all know that, and I spent a year living in Japan, so well traveled. I speak Japanese, it's a fun fact. I came back to South Africa and went to university, did a commerce degree, and then got stuck into the IT world. My first jobs were in the UK. I actually worked for the Financial Times themselves, working in the interactive data division. Although it was not very glamorous, we used to do data capture, so far away from the fun world of trading. After that I spent some time back in South Africa, and I worked in the fast-moving consumer goods market. We had a very large company with about 200 branches around the world that I managed, and that was crazy times. We traveled a lot, did a lot of great work, hard hours. After that, back to London. I've also worked in Australia, and highlights in London, mostly financial services, specifically working at the UK's oldest bank, which was a fascinating place to work. You know, Sam's also worked there. And at the FCA, also working in the regulatory side, a lot more interesting than you may think, and especially being at the cutting edge of what's actually happening in the UK financial services sector. So since then, big moves really, investing into Samuel & Co. Took a long time for us to finally get there, but it's been the best thing I think I've done in the last couple of decades. It's a good timing. Love what we're doing, believe in the products. And then on the side, I also work at Tencent, which we all know is a big Chinese giant, so I'm over in China quite often.
I don't think many people know that though. You know, when I mention Tencent, no one really knows where it is. I think if you're in China, I don't think outside.
So a little bit about Tencent then. They effectively have a lot of competing products to things like WhatsApp. So they have a product called WeChat. That's by far the biggest chat and social app in the whole of Asia, certainly in China. They have 900 million users, which is pretty good.
Wow.
I think as to Facebook's 1.2 billion. So they're right up there, and that's just one country. And then on top of that, they've really expanded into the gaming sector, with about 65% of their revenue coming from gaming. So they've taken WeChat and done a lot more with it than just chat. For example, you can apply for a passport online through WeChat. It plugs into all of the banking applications. All of the companies have a presence on WeChat as well.
Okay.
So it's really interesting stuff. And at the moment, I work for the African branch, so Tencent Africa. Headed up, we're in Cape Town, and we have a music product and a few others. And right now I head up the data science team, so we're involved with analytics, big data, machine learning, that kind of stuff. So it's a really, really great place to be, and it's nice that we get some cross-pollination between what I'm doing there and what we're doing in the fintech company.
So lots to discuss. I think obviously it's quite clear that you've done a lot. How did you get started in that industry? For someone watching this going, I want to be part of the data science team. I mean, I don't know how many people go and say I want to be part of the data science team. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that want to get involved in that though, because obviously, like you were saying, you worked in the banking industry. You worked at, was it Old Mutual as well?
Yeah, I worked at Old Mutual. A whole long list of financials.
Yeah, so a long list of them. And how did you actually get started? So
I think the tip on how to get started is just to act now. So the world keeps changing, and we certainly didn't have all of the learning materials that are available free on YouTube, for example, and obviously on Yield Owl we have as well. But just get started now. Get on to whatever free content is available and read and research as much as you can. And then just simply pick the thing that intrigues you the most. So in my space, I probably recommend, from a future career path and good money point of view, being in the development space or being in the data space are probably the two key areas of interest right now. And it's as simple as that. Take some courses, see if that whatever's your fancy. There's lots of different languages. There's obviously back and front end. There's the whole crypto space that's emerging now. And the data space as well. It's vast. but just start now is the key.
So, like I said, I'm sure you watch the Entrepreneurs Talk Tears and you try to get 5 tips. So we'll put that down as number 1 is start now.
Yeah, start now.
Start
absolutely.
now. And so, actually, how did you start? Did you go to university or anything like that?
Yeah, so my grandfather put money aside for me a long time ago, and I landed up being the first of our family to go to university. Kind of went begrudgingly because I wanted to get working, but I was not a great student, I have to be honest. It was the year I came back from Japan, and I spent most of my time actually working as a Japanese tourist guide, kind of skipping some lectures, but I passed the degree in the correct time. So that's tip 2. Start now and then finish according to your plan. You definitely don't want to get stuck with extra years, extra bills. But after university, I did information systems, and first job, as I said, were in London.
Yeah.
And I was actually moving to New York at the time, around 2003. And I got back and a friend of mine said to me, please just come and work with us. And I'd never been interested in a permanent job, but I said fine for 1 month. And that's an interesting thing with sort of go-getting type of people. All you really need to do is put a problem in front of them, and they will hold on to that problem until they've actually solved it.
Yeah.
So they gave me a task, which was to sort out the network of this particular company, the one with 120 branches.
Yeah.
And that's how I got started, really. I started right at the bottom, changing tapes in the server room for the backups, writing basic scripts to copy files around the network. It's really old school stuff. Now it's all automated. But yeah, from there, I actually ended up managing the team, which was really interesting. So we operated in 7 different countries. We were in a different city every week, and yeah, just constant learning.
What was the degree that you did?
Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in information systems.
Okay.
So business degree with IT background.
Okay, so obviously there was a part where you was doing all this. You went contracting. So you went from. Was you perm at one point? Was you permanent?
That job was perm. And I had a brief 1-year perm job in the UK once. Everything else has been
Contracted.
flexible.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe takeaway on that is just be brave, back yourself. I can promise you're a lot better than you think. So in backing yourself, it gives you a lot more flexibility and options. And it's not always around perm versus contract, but it's maybe that belief that you've got this. And in a contract or entrepreneurial sort of environment, you're only as good as your last, project.
Yeah.
And yeah, have that belief. I mean, work hard, practice, constant learning, but through that process, a lot of opportunities have arisen, and that's how we got here today.
Yeah. So there was a part, obviously, where you you invested in Samuel Co Trading and became part joint owner with myself on that, and that was when was that? That was 20
over a year ago now.
Yeah, it's about a year now,
Yeah.
isn't it? About
Yeah.
1 year now. And so you did that. We met back in
Day one.
2011.
Yeah.
2011.
It was then.
And then 7 years later, you now obviously joint owner with me at Samuel Co Trade. What made you take that leap into wanting to be a part of Samuel Co Trading?
Absolutely. So, as you said, we really have been here since day one. Graph one.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's been the culmination of working informally together on something that's interesting, also profitable, and trying to do better in the world and uplift people's lives. And it was just perfect timing. I saw an opportunity, and more than anything, if we're really honest, it was more getting Sam or trying to position him to actually allow me to buy in so much as actually just doing it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's been a great combination of working together over the years, and also generally over long distances and apart.
Yeah.
And ultimately building that trust that has landed us where we are now. But yeah, in terms of the opportunity, I said I love what we do. There's nowhere I've ever worked that works at this pace. Block your ears, but he moves fast. Hard to keep up, but that's why I'm here. It's a great opportunity from all aspects. In a way to help people, genuinely help people, not just say we will. Of course, long-term strategy to run a good business, and the projects are really interesting. It's also really cool to have genuine control over your destiny and your future.
Yeah.
So you're not just doing work, you're actually bringing to life your ideas and creations.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. So I think for the audience, everyone watching that probably aspires to you, to be fair. From if you think of where you've come from to where you are now, let's try to get another tip out of you of how do you feel that you have got to where you are today? Because a lot of people would always sit on the outside and aspire to be where you are and what you've achieved and all the rest of it.
That's usually a really simple answer, and I think it's the same one for you. It's just work hard. Work hard, play hard, but definitely put in the efforts in a mindful space in the correct area at the right time. So I think being present in what you're doing and really focused on it is what it takes.
Yeah.
Just rocking up at work and doing your thing, you're never going to really climb at a rate that you start to get the feedback and you get a bit of momentum to move forward. So all the years, traveling sounds wonderful, but I've moved countries about 7 times and will move again. That takes a lot of time, money, organization and efforts, but the rewards I personally feel are great. So it's just that dogged determination, be there first, as they say. 9/10 is just showing up. So just get there, and then by being there, it's amazing what opportunities unfold.
Yeah, I agree with that, because we have some guys who go through the junior trader program at Samuel & Co, and they come into the office and then they just never leave, and then it's those guys that then get jobs, other roles, other things, and before you know it, they're doing multiple things and they're moving up the ladder. So just turning up is a big thing. When you start recognizing someone that keeps turning up, it's very hard to ignore them, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's an interesting point. So again, you're just saying hard work is what gets you there, and can anyone do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, going back to the start now, anybody has access to the internet, generally speaking. If you don't, find a way through a friend, a library, somewhere you can get on the internet and you can find information that previously wasn't available for free, and you can start your learning process. With those skills, every little bit helps, and just keep at it and you will definitely make progress.
Okay, so that's a great tip. So you obviously came part of Samuel K Trading, and then what did we start?
Yeah, careful what you wish for. That's my favorite saying. So someone decided we should launch an ICO project, which we did. A lot of sleepless nights, but it's really looking good. I think everybody seen price obviously is fluctuating, but hey, that's the markets. If we really look at the stats though, we did very well compared to all the other tokens and coins. Obviously we saw sort of circa 80% taken off most of the big guys, and yeah, no, I think we've done very well to keep our token where we are now, and I'm very excited for the future prospects of Yieldcoin. Quite simply, I'm the technological part of the business to a degree, but I bow to the superior knowledge of the founders of Ethereum. They're obviously at the forefront of that space. So we've taken a more business-centric approach and used what we believe is the best technology and focused on the business side, and that's something that I think is lacking in a lot of the other projects.
Yeah.
So this year really, if things start to light up, us having real life working business cases with people using the tokens, that's the holy grail, and that's not what's really happening at the moment. So
yeah,
we'll be a flag bearer and we'll make it happen. 2019 is the year.
And what do you think? Hard question. I mean, I want to answer these as much as you, but we'll leave it to you since you're the entrepreneur on the talk today. So what do you think that Yieldcoin is doing that maybe other tokens or other coins aren't doing? Let's go that route.
Sure. So the big one obviously is the imminent listing on one of the London stock exchanges.
Yeah.
It's a first, and quite simply the problem we have right now is that the technology is phenomenal. It is light years ahead of the actual real world business case and the general understanding of the man in the street.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, we're able to take all the people that know about the crypto space, that are currently invested more likely, and know what a wallet is and can move their funds all over the place and keep them secure, and then tap into the mainstream financial market. So for traditional investors, whether they be firms or individuals, the listing will make that happen. It's going to be the marriage between the tech side and the business side, and mass market versus the tech gurus. So that's a huge one, and you said no one else is doing that. And then the other projects like Yield Owl, as we mentioned, there's a lot of free educational material out there, but at the same time there's a lot of not the greatest educational content out there. So I believe that what we have there is very credible. It's a genuine community of real people that you can communicate with, both on our side and the audience. So we'll be making more changes to that. Of course, we had to get it out pretty quickly because that was the dream. But it's just that credibility that there's a bricks and mortar business behind it, real people you can talk to. We're not going anywhere. We're right here. You see us every day. Well, mostly Sam, not really me, but like it that way. So I think the business side and really bringing this to life is what the others are lacking right now.
I think one of the big points there is like when you look at liquidity on cryptos, that's what people don't plan for, right? Is the failure in liquidity, is the lack of liquidity, and so on and so forth. And I put my hands up and say that I think Yieldcoin is also victim to lack of liquidity, and that's because of lack of exchanges, costing like £350,000 plus to be in like a top 10, and not being able to justify that, and moving to the stock market makes sense on a liquidity basis, because when you're looking at that, for example, one of the exchanges we're listing on, the average stocks get around 15 to 20 million a month in liquidity. Now, if we're getting 15 to 20 million a month in liquidity on our stock, most stock investors look at what they're buying, understand that there's a crypto, and we could move part of that liquidity over to the crypto to overall grow our kind of crypto, ecosphere kind of vibe.
That's definitely the plan.
But
again, it's a world first, so maybe just to everybody out there, just understand that everything we're doing as fast as we can, but at the same time security is the number one priority, and then also making sure that we are investing the money from the ICO projects in a way that we think is justified. It's very easy for companies to attend every crypto or blockchain convention that's out there. We only listed Winter 1, which was very interesting, shall we say. So we're being very careful with the way that we spend the money, and we think that in the long term that'll be the thing that gets us through to one of the big players in the end.
I mean, if we look at 2018, I think it was 70% of ICOs that started in 2018 failed. Before that, 2017, it was 50% of ICOs failed. So we're doing something right. In regards to that, we're in a good financial environment.
Just on that, if you don't know at home, you can deploy a smart contract or a new cryptocurrency. It takes about 1 to 2 hours to do that from scratch. So just to really hammer home the point that the technology is there, it's the business case and actually getting it to be used that is the challenging bit, and that's why we're focusing on that. So
so obviously a lot of the guys listening will obviously know about Yieldcoin and so on and so forth, but if they don't, where can they go to find out more information about it?
So first check out the website. So it's www.myyield.io. Yieldowl.com is our education and social media training platform. Definitely check that out as well. In fact, I'd probably go there first because you'll be able to chat to one of our agents live, and they can answer your questions in a personal manner. Otherwise, the white paper's on the website as well. We do need to update that, if I'm honest. We're working on that at the moment. But those are two really good sources. And again, the individualized real person content is another thing that is quite rare in this space. So I'm sure the team's looking forward to getting your message.
And like on Yield Out, we've got a lovely bird joining us for this interview, haven't we? There you go, quiet down a bit now. That's what happens when you're sat in the middle of nowhere in Thailand. But I can't complain about the view anyway, can we? So, okay, cool. And Yield Owl's got around 3,400 users now, from something silly now. I think it's like 60 odd, 70 odd countries now, both mobile, Apple, Android, and so on and so forth. So for those that are looking at Yieldcoin as a crypto, what do they have to look forward to over the coming months, and what's exciting?
Cool. So we really have tried to cover the full life cycle or the full ecosystem of the crypto space. So the first one, as we mentioned a bit earlier, it's to list on one of the London stock exchanges. If you think about it, we've only been going for 9 months, so undertaking a project like that is quite phenomenal. Again, another world first, and we've pushed really hard to get that done as soon as we could. So again, that should bring in, we're looking at big liquidity, sort of 15 odd million pounds per month in terms of liquidity on the stocks. Moving from that into the exchange. So as you know, we've been working on an exchange for a number of months now. Just again to reinforce that security is our number one criteria, and number two will be easy to use. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that both of those elements are covered. We have a lot of it done. There are a couple of things bugs we're trying to iron out, but expect that in the coming couple of months.
Yeah.
And then we've got a few new things coming. So a lot of you are very interested in buying into the crypto space or buying yield coin, which is great. But quite soon after that, we start to run into all the learnings or the challenges. So the first one is the way in which you can actually buy yield coin. So the two options coming soon, and one's already available. Firstly, obviously through the exchange direct, and then secondly is an over-the-counter service, or OTC is the acronym. So that'll allow you to transfer British pounds straight into the bank account, and we will then credit you with yield coin tokens into a secure wallet of your choice. And then the next product or project we're working on now that's due soon is called Yield Insure. So again, once you've got your tokens, you need to make sure that you look after them, because unlike a traditional bank, you're personally responsible for the security of your tokens. So Yield Insure offers a money-back guarantee on any tokens or altcoins that you put into our service. We can also do it on the back transparently when you actually buy a yield coin or Ethereum over the counter through us. So that will allow you to have a 100% secure wallet. We'll store all of your tokens in cold storage for you. Again, as I said, with a guarantee, which in an unregulated space like the crypto markets is another first. So that really completes the cycle of being able to buy into the market in a secure and easy manner, and then to hold the tokens and coins of any description going forward into the future. We also have a number of tiered offerings around that, so if you do want to get your access to your coins or tokens very quickly or within a day, we're able to do that for you as well. So that product we look to expand in the future as well, and add trading options as liquidity hopefully picks up in the crypto space.
Yeah, so I think so in that sense then, would we say that Q1 of 2019, well, let's say Q1 / going into Q2 as well, is all about making the yield coin crypto space available via exchanges, traditional markets, and also then the security side via our exchange.
Yeah.
And just a bit more on that. We're decentralized, aren't we, on the exchange?
Correct. So
yeah,
we have a number of plans in play, but at the core of blockchain and the crypto space is the concept of decentralization, i.e. no particular body or organization controls anything in the system. So it depends on which side of the fence you sit, but the centralized exchanges that we have at the moment, sorry, that's a giant hawk that just flew over us.
Literally in the middle of nowhere, just a hawk comes and interrupts.
I love it.
He's always coming down for you or something. Yeah, we have like the whole jungle behind you guys, and then we've got all the beach and everything that way. So there's like, we've been told that there's monkeys up in the trees and stuff that come down here sometimes, and then hawks and God knows what else. So anyway, so crypto exchange, decentralized.
Yeah, decentralized versus centralized. So yeah, we obviously read a lot of things in the media about the centralized exchanges, which are the big ones. No names mentioned. They're doing a good job, but ultimately they're all controlled by someone in particular, and the focus that they have is to make money. So decentralized is the way we decided to go with our first cut, and that ensures that we have the minimum amount of fees. It is 100% written to the blockchain, which simply means the highest level of security. Nothing is controlled by us. So it really is what we believe is the best way to go. The entire exchange, as we designed it, lives on one screen. So there's not multiple screens or scrolling all over the place. You literally hit the page. It integrates directly with MetaMask wallets, also Ledger, of course, and all of the other types. But the main two that we'd like to promote or recommend again is cold storage, always if possible. So Ledger Nano S is the one that we use. And then of course MetaMask if you don't have one and you'd like to remain on a digital wallet. But both of them integrate directly. You can see the entire market stats in front of you in one place, and yeah, we think it's nice and easy to use.
So going into that, so like I said, making it available to traditional markets via the stock market, going into the crypto space. I think also in the stock market, just to reiterate on that one, I think it's by doing it and being the first to open the floodgates, so to speak, we become the experts within the field of how we've managed to list on the stock market with only 9 months company accounts, but 2, also build the trust, pass the compliance, and also the regulatory aspect that the exchanges ask from us as a crypto, which means that it's possible to make cryptos both compliant and also regulatory compliant in that sense as well. So hoping to achieve that very, very soon. And I think so 2019 Q1 going into Q2 for Yieldcoin is more about generating the liquidity, making it available to traditional markets and both current markets in an easy use case scenario, and then also then adopting going into Q2, opening up those business cases such as yield insure, and really bringing into the fact that we can protect and also make it safe with the decentralized exchange, and also the insurance products of being able to protect the cryptos in an unregulated space, and then keep on building on those use cases.
Maybe just to add to that, Yieldcoin obviously is the product, and we all know that quite well, but
coming in for another swoop here, look at this. I'm sure they can hear that, surely. Can they hear that? They can hear him like kicking off. He's like circling over your head, man.
It's so bright.
He's circling us. He's going, pray. You got it, Chaz? And then going into Q2 is building up all of the business cases and keep on increasing it.
Just to add to that, obviously we've been speaking about Yieldcoin a lot, but just remember that everything that we're doing forms part of the ecosystem that is supposed to be a value add that drives people to actually buy and sell Yieldcoin, so that increases liquidity. So they're not specifically for the business. Everything is a direct project that's supposed to drive liquidity into the coin. So
yeah, I think also one of those from the liquidity drive, I think this is the first time we've actually ever mentioned it, but listing onto the stock market, we're actually valued based on how many tokens that we hold. And I think that's actually important to the users / viewers, because what that means is we're not like every other ICO or crypto that wants to get their token out, get rid of it for real pounds, and you guys can deal with the cryptos, we don't need to worry about that. It's actually in our interest to own more Yieldcoin, because that's how the business will be valued, based on the price of what the Yieldcoin is, and also based on how many of those we hold. So actually it's in our interest to be buying back Yieldcoin and increasing our hold. And what that actually means for the Yieldcoin holders is that means an increase in demand, because there'll be a lack of supply, because we'll be slowly clawing it back and locking it away into our nano ledgers,
which we've been doing.
Yeah, exactly, which we have been doing, and we've been doing it very smartly in how we've been accruing it back as well. And I think that's something that's obviously of interest to current Yieldcoin holders, because it means that the demand, there's 1.1 billion tokens out there that's Yieldcoin, of which at the moment we hold, they'll know anyway because it's going to come out the stock market, it's probably over about 700 million now.
Yeah, it must be almost up to that.
Yeah, so we've nearly accrued back up to 700 million, which means that there's only 400 million tokens out there that's free float to the public, which means that over another year or two we might be able to claw that back another 200 million or something like that. It's something that we've been doing to increase demand and reduce supply, is we actually have been buying back Yieldcoin. And the reason why we've been doing that is because when we list onto the stock market, we're actually valued based on how many tokens that we hold and the current market price. So it's actually in our interest to, 1, increase demand, but 2, decrease supply so that we can buy the tokens back. And as the Yieldcoin community grows, we've got over 3,000 plus users now, and as it grows even further, what will... Oh. It's just a butterfly. I thought it was like a little mini hawk coming in or something. Jesus, what is with this jungle? I just see this black thing. I thought it was a bat coming out of nowhere. I'm like, rabies. Just give me the fright of life there. So, in our interest to grow demand and reduce the market supply, and as the community keeps on growing, the demand is going to grow at the same pace, which means that there'll be a lack of supply, which overall means the token value will grow. So these things take time. As you imagine, startup businesses take time. That is what we are heavily working on, and I believe that we have worked it out in a very smart manner that will add value back to the yield coin holders and back to the shareholders, and overall create great products, great businesses that you know excel on both the business side, excel on the crypto side, and create these new business cases that haven't necessarily been seen before, but in a stable manner where the business isn't going to go anywhere. It's not going to disappear, and you know, we're not going to do what some of these other tokens have done and just disappear and turn off and say that we're under financed. It's very, very far from that, and move into a space where it's really valuable to the yield coin holders. And believe it or not, those that have been selling yield coin at such a cheap rate, we've been buying it up and saying thanks to you guys, because we've obviously been buying it back to increase our value of what we've got on yield coin, because we understand the longer term vision of what's going on, and now those users out there also understand the longer term vision. And we've seen, this isn't something that we've just made up. We've seen this successfully been utilized by businesses like Binance, who do quarterly burns. So they take part of their profits that they've made, buy up their Binance tokens, and then destroy them. We're not destroying them, we're just locking them up and putting them into a vault. However, in that sense, it is increasing demand, and we've seen that successfully used in the Binance token, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to go, that's a great idea, and implement that into ours as well to create value for the users. So we've discussed Q1 of yield coin. Let's go for a fourth tip. Matt, what's your fourth tip for someone that's going out into the crypto space?
Right, crypto space. So, shameless punt, I would definitely have a look at the information on YieldOwl because I believe it's credible. Whatever you're going to do, please do your homework and do good research. So you'll hopefully have seen, if you go onto myetherwallet.com or mycrypto.com, they have a whole series of pop-ups that you have to specifically click around to get rid of. Don't click around them. Read what's actually there and see what it's all about, because this is a completely new space compared to what we're used to. There's no bank manager to go and speak to. There's no one to go and verify and get your tokens back. You need to know what you're doing. So that really, just to reiterate the point, is the technology is light years ahead of what we're used to. We're trying to play catch up by educating the public as much as we can so that they can actually see the benefits of this new technology. So do your research, make sure it's credible, and then the best thing is to practice with something small. So create a wallet or a couple of wallets, buy a small amount of any particular coin or token, and then do some transfers between the two. Have a look at the transactions on the blockchain, understand what the difference between the blockchain is versus a centralized exchange. So one obviously being immutable, i.e. you cannot change it and it's trusted, and the centralized exchange, obviously they control the transactions. So it's all about finding information that's credible and then doing light touch testing until you feel comfortable, and then taking the next step.
Okay, cool. So we've got one more tip to get out of you by the end of the talk.
Right now I'd say it's always wear sun cream.
What's exciting that you're looking forward to in 2019? What's the biggest thing that you're excited about going forward?
Okay, I'll answer with two things. The first one, on a personal note, I'm actually training for what they call the Tour de France of the mountain biking world. It's the world's biggest mountain biking race, followed by the equivalent up in Switzerland later in the year. So we're going to be doing some sponsorship. So I'm doing a lot of training at the moment. Yeah, so it's pretty intense time, but it looks absolutely phenomenal.
How far is that?
It's about 450 miles off-road over 8 days. It's tough. It's probably around I need to work it out in feet, but it's 16 or 17,000 meters of climbing over the couple of days. It's really tough, but yeah, it's a great motivator, and I'm really enjoying that. So yeah, and then the other one, I think my final takeaway is we've spoken a lot about getting out there and really making it happen, working hard, but at the same time, I think very importantly is work-life balance. So that's why we're here, and got to thank Sam for making sure that, you know, the entire team is here and we really come out to enjoy the time here. So work hard, play hard, work-life balance, and just be very mindful of that. It's very easy to just get caught up in the hurricane of work, and we all do it. There are always deadlines, and maybe that's it. There will always be another deadline. There will always be more work to be done. But just remember, time with your friends and family, and just with yourself, just being in the flow of life is very important.
The work-life balance.
Yeah, work-life balance.
Okay, perfect. Anything else that you'd like to add for the audience?
Just a big thank you. I know it can be frustrating at times when, you know, things don't just magically move up to the right, but we're working very hard, and we've said a few times, you know, these things take time. So our focus is to do it the right way the first time, and making sure that it's secure and as easy for you guys to use as possible, but it does take time. So please bear with us, and just the takeaway is thank you very much for believing us and the projects, and, you know, buying into the ICO. I think it's going to be a phenomenal time when we list on the stock exchange. It really is a quantum shift in the volume of people and, you know, finances that we're going to be able to reach. And again, being first, it really is. I can't wait. I literally cannot wait for that day. It's going to be great. So yeah, big thanks to everybody out there, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Awesome. So guys, that is our Entrepreneurs Talking Tea episode 10 with Matthew Wright. Guys, if you would like to get hold of Matt, how can they get hold of you?
Best message me on the YieldOwl platform. I'll get back to you same day. And yeah, otherwise post questions on YieldOwl. That really is for me a big project for the year. I'd love to see us using it a lot more. So yeah, for those of you that have asked questions and even some difficult ones, please continue to do so and ask as much as possible.
Awesome. So guys, that is episode 10 with Matthew Wright. Don't forget to thumbs up, comment and subscribe, and click the join now button for exclusive content, and give us your thoughts in the comments below, whether it's about the talk that we've had, or the hawks, or the massive bat that was attacking me during the interview. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.